Book of the Past, Book 2. The intricacy and connection of everything is revealed by the qualities of each thing. Limitless possibilities can be perceived once you truly understand the resulting possibility in the thing being examined. Through careful study of a feather, one can understand all there is to know about the sky. This is because the principles that regulate results, filtering the limitless possibilities of the infinite, can be arrived at by examining the results. Study a fruit intensely enough and the structure of its tree, the climate it grows best in, the soil that is best for it, and the weather that is most conducive to it will all be revealed. The process of understanding the mysteries is to accept the above principle and internalize it. For as it is true of the things of the natural world without you, it is also true of the world within you. That is your psyche. When you have a moment of irrational response, you are failing to concentrate on this principle. Statements such as, "I don't know why I did that," show that your decisions in the moment are the results of something within you that you have not examined or refined. You've been given a large body of practices and dogma that claim to be able to purify your psyche and save your soul. Yet if it were so, would not the world already be filled with saints? You will have to sift through all you have been given and pluck out those few things that resonate with what your psyche needs. Then you will have to spend time within yourself and seek out new practices and codes that aid you in living in harmony. The desire of harmony is the motive for all spiritual seekers and systems. It can be found in every religion, every magical art, and every great sage of the past. It is the desire to live fully and effectively. And when you attain this knowledge, you will find that you are no longer alike to the population around you that has not attained it, and it will feel as if you have died to them and their world. You might feel terribly alone and distraught that those around you do not even desire the precious treasure you have found. Do not let this dissuade you. You, the seeker, are the bridge between the worlds. It is up to you to first attain the knowledge that you need to succeed, then the practice, and time to study and learn to use it wisely. And once you have attained this state, it will fall to you to promote harmony in all those that are around you. It is not improper to compare the accomplished seeker to the machinery an engine needs to function, for it is by our quest of harmony that the world around us continues to function. All societies are dependent upon spiritual seekers to inspire the society to harmony, or the society stagnates and perishes. The answers to harmony are not found solely in religious dogma or magical rites. They are hinted at in these, and the seeker then finds them by practice and experimentation. This means each seeker will have a slightly different process in how they obtain their harmony, and will have different practices. Do not let this become a source for misunderstanding one another, for in that error lays the seeds of fanaticism and violence. We often mistake extremes of emotion, such as joy and sorrow, as states which are to be prolonged or avoided. Yet the truth is that the extremes are not the totality of our experience of life. It is the total sum of our experiences that produce bliss and contentment, and lead us to judge what actions we must take to sustain our harmony. When glad, be joyful. When sorrowful, be sad. Be present in each moment, and do not prematurely end a moment, nor prolong it past its proper time. Many times you will not wish to perform your daily practices, nor enter into a new learning that might challenge your personal paradigm. Yet you must, or your harmony will be lost. Your desire for harmony will eventually prompt you to return to your practices and force you to learn when dissonance forces you to admit that something in your psyche needs correction. So why waste time and inflict more suffering on yourself? Do your work and keep your regimen. We often dress our process to attain harmony up in rites and conceal it in sacred places with the erroneous idea that by doing so, we grant our efforts more meaning and sacredness. But harmony, being perfect, is already whole. What can one add to something that is already whole? Any form, the delusion we blind ourselves with and call holiness, is purely our own creation. Avoid this. Your pursuit of harmony may involve special rites and tools, but it must also be accessible to you when you do such mundane things as caring for a pet. Spells you cast are as powerful when you are wearing blue jeans and a t-shirt as when you are gowned and bedecked with enchanted jewels. Harmony is whole, for it is unattached to outcomes, content and present in its own being. The desire to control the world without and those within it are counterproductive to this process. For the temptation to become mentally attached to an outcome and to develop aggressive responses when you are thwarted is very great. But if you maintain your harmony, then there is nothing you cannot eventually achieve or set in motion for others of like mind to achieve, for maintaining your harmony fosters patience and persistence. Those that give in to despair and anger injure their psyches so greatly it is as if they had died. They accept one extreme of emotion and deny the other. They fail to see all the possibilities that they could entertain, or demand a result in too short of a time. These are extremely grave errors. Do not fall into them, and when you see others so lost, do all in your power to embolden them. Another danger is conceit, for there are many who attain harmony for a moment, and when they see the suffering of those who have not, they feel superior. These fall into the error of thinking of themselves as kings and queens, deriding those that suffer and increasing their burden for fear that to show any empathy to those who have not attained harmony will risk the seeker losing their own. And so accepting this hubris, the one who attained harmony fails to maintain it, and replaces it with a false sense of accomplishment, and the illusion that once done is always done, forgetting that harmony is something that must be maintained. And others fall into the error of assuming that harmony is synonymous with power, influence, or peerage. Once accepting this erroneous thought, they fall into a state of abusing their power to avoid fear, or peddling and bickering over their influence to avoid fear, or pleasing their peers to avoid ostracism and ridicule. Avoid this error. The would-be king, losing light and warmth slowly, may pass by their janitor and dismiss his worth, blind to the light and warmth inside that servant's soul, who, while occupied with mundane tasks, maintains harmony, and as such is a light with a sacred fire. And others, to avoid experiencing fear, will vilify those that they feel unfit. They mistake cruelty for justice. They mistake power for strength. To avoid fear, they even convince themselves that the world of material objects, other persons, and even their own bodies are not important. They turn their eyes towards an existence they cannot prove but want to believe. For in the illusion of their belief there is no fear, sorrow, or lack, and they allow these errors of thought because they have allowed fear to enter them and ride their psyche as a man might ride a horse. Others, to avoid fear, will turn to hedonism. They will seek states of ecstasy, either from drunkenness, narcotics, or sex. Convinced that materiality is a prison, they rebel against it and themselves, damaging body and mind, as well as poisoning any truly enhanced mystical experience that those acts might grant. For in their minds there will always be the doubt that they cannot trust a naturally occurring mystical experience, as the drugs and altered states of excess mimic these so closely, or that proper use, instead of excess, could bestow. They have conceived of harmony as something that exists outside of themselves, or a state granted by a god. By doing so, they make it a fact, making themselves unable to maintain harmony, and creating such spiritual malaise that the might of a god is needed to shock them back into a mindset in which they could accept their error. And others entertain the delusion that they can be spiritually pure while still participating in acts that damage their psyche and themselves. They see themselves as messiahs, kaisers, and the rightful rulers of society. They seek the favor of history and take shelter from fear in the purple robe and laurel. Yet not a single messiah has produced a faith that is as they envisioned it. Not a single kaiser has left an empire that can withstand time. Nor does history's record, imperfect and imprecise, even allow these would-be godmen to be truly known. They have only inherited shadows. And then there are those who sink into ennui and believe that when they pass that there shall be no afterlife experience. They hide from fear with the solace of oblivion. Such produce magical effects that only serve to drain them of more vitality. Their magical acts deplete them of possibilities and power, whereas the magical arts of the wise increase their vitality and reinforce their chosen outcomes. The wise know that what might appear as an action to others is in fact conserving and maintaining power. When the wise pause and reflect, they experience the limitless possibilities and decide which to select. Then when all is prepared and proper for the outcome chosen, they send their selection forward into the world without them, with every empowered thought, magical art, and resolved action. They have the stamina of the universe to aid them, and the very power of the earth itself. And others will embrace only their own understanding, rituals, and traditions, taking shelter in it against reason in the examination of results. I say to you, if something does not produce the goal it aims for, forsake it. I say to you, compare, research, debate, and weigh carefully. For though you each will resonate with a different song, the structure of the music and the laws of its operation are the same. For there is a great danger for those who trust only in themselves or only in others, nor let the personal manners of a sage that you find troubling prevent you from listening and comparing their understanding with your own. You have seen it written that order is subjective and chaos is immanent. I say to you that the relationship between order and chaos is thus. What men call chaos is merely the results of order that are misunderstood or beyond man's understanding. What men call order is what they have understood of the laws that operate the multiverse. And what order actually is that harmony that sustains, creates, and spontaneously generates new being. Some who call themselves wise seek chaos, for they fear that to manifest and align with that great order is to dim their own light. But I say to you that this is preposterous. You, being a flame of the sacred fire, already burn with this infinite light. How then can your light ever be diminished, except by your own willful wasting of its warmth? And others praise and pursue only intuition and mystery, thinking that reason and knowledge are but the constructs of man. This too is folly. Would you cut off your right hand simply because it is not your left? 2 pillars flank the portal that allows entrance to the temple. If there were but one, the doorway would collapse. And while you train, you may encounter the need to explain your stalemates and frustrations as being insurmountable. If something truly is insurmountable, accept it and change your practice to maneuver around it. Yet examine the matter carefully first, that you are not mistaken. A tool that can aid your progress is to keep a holy calendar of celebrations. These should be entered with joy and abandon. Celebrate the turning of the seasons, the passing of the moons, the roaming of the planets, the passing of a youth through life, the feasts of your community. For by paying attention to the cycle of time, you become aware of the medium through which you pass. You become the fish that can see the sea, while the other fish swim in ignorance. For those that attain harmony and maintain it, there is no such experience as frustration, guilt, or fear. They learn from failures, and so are never frustrated. They do not intentionally harm others and make amends for all wrongs, and so they are never guilty. They act appropriately with their concerns and weigh risks, and so they are never struck with fear. Nor are they distressed by the lack of progress of others, knowing that in this life or one to come, a soul will be refined. Nor do they pity those who are ignorant of their psyche. Instead, they aid all that they can or who ask for guidance. They seek not to control others, and so conquer themselves. Harmony, Ma'at, most desirable and lovely, most nurturing and protecting. She flies on wings of green earth, red fire, blue water, yellow air, and white spirit, crowned with a single feather made of golden sunlight, silver moonlight, and scintillating starlight, eternal, true, and revealing. With one wing she shelters discipline, with the other she shelters desire. In her embrace they mingle and produce beauty and balance, twin children of her love with those that love her. You have been taught false modesty and false licentiousness by the tyrants of temples. For adults, it is no sin to lust, nor is it virtue to be celibate. You have been indoctrinated by others to believe that frivolity has no purpose and that only labor has merit. They would work you to the point of breaking and reap the benefits of your labor, your art, and your service. Harmony demands you forsake such greed and instead give of yourself what will not harm yourself, and keep for yourself that which you need. Labor not until the point of exhaustion, nor become indolent and unproductive. In magic, there is the use of magical languages and symbols, but all of these were the creations of men and women who required a tool to focus their intention. These inherited systems have power because of the sense of continuation they impart to the receptive psyche. Yet others find that a symbol from their dreams, or words they hear, or have created of their own, impart this ability. They may even forsake the grimoires of old and create vast catalogues of glyphs and structures of their own. The most powerful and adept magicians use both the symbols of the past that resonate with them and the ones they have discovered. Magical practice always possesses a structure from its inheritance and from its liveliness of improvisation that the individual manifests. You will find that as you practice your art, there are those that will mock you, either because they are envious or because they are spiritually blind. Pay these no heed and keep at the work, and do not seek their approval. Instead, focus on your results. People are what they are, and nothing else. You are surrounded by those that claim they can aid you with improving yourself. Be wary. Many of those who claim to aid are nothing more than charlatans. Many times the teacher you require is not someone famous or well known, but the dependable servant who performs their duty and can harmonize. Gods and goddesses disguise themselves as men and women. Angels impart lessons disguised as a passerby. The guru does not live in some remote mountain, but works at the till at the neighborhood shop. And if you must strike, strike hard, fast, and continuously until your opponent is unable to harm you. What the wise seek is of supreme worth, more valuable than the dross that the common world admires. It is nothing less than true self-mastery. It is like a diamond hidden in coal, cast off and considered useless by the ignorant, that when found by the wise and cleansed, reveals its value. The wise know the exhaustion brought from the work is more precious than any momentary succor granted from furtive abandon. The ancestors guide the wise, the messengers impart instruction to the wise, and the holy ones will admit the wise into their presence. The properly prepared shall not be overcome. They shall journey, enter, labor, exit, and return in perfect peace and safety. Declares the Holy One, Thou art mine, and I am thine. None shall part us. Visions and ecstasies you shall meet along the way. Do not deny them nor cling to them, in a kind of greed. Nightmares and tribulations will haunt you along the way. Do not allow them to frighten you, nor ignore them. Refine yourself through careful distillation. Whatever deed you do, perform it with skill. Seek to make everything you do more perfect, more sublime, more artful, and effortless. Do not mistake the improvement of your skills with the improvement of the psyche. The greater skillfulness you possess, the easier it is to refine the psyche, for you gain confidence and security by increasing your abilities. But ever the goal is that of improving the quality of your psyche, nor believe yourself to be inferior. We are all psyches worthy and admirable. By refining, we increase our worth and harmony. Fear not that your body will die, nor obsess over how you shall be remembered. As you excel in performing a skill when unattached to outcomes, but instead concentrating and performing, so you will excel in life by concentrating on your process rather than desiring a post-life memoriam. The more intense your longing for harmony, the greater the presence you will generate when you maintain it. Others shall be drawn to you, able to sense the state they lack. Should any of these ask to be your student, do not refuse. You may require them to prove their dedication by tasks. You may require that they accept obligations, and any task they perform or obligation they accept shall be one you yourself have performed.